So as you'll see, I've got a whole bunch of money here. Let's go ahead and buy some boosters. I can buy 20 boosters right now, so let's do that. Here we go. Open booster. A Regal Caracal. That's a great card. Trial of Strength is awesome. We've got On-Crop Champion. It's fine. We've got a Cartouche, Vitor Sure Shot, and Lux River Shrine. Alright, next booster. Never is great. Never to Return, obviously, is the card. The other side, well, it destroys a creature or planeswalker, and then the card from your graveyard, you cast it with Aftermath. Exile target card, just anything, from a graveyard to create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So what this is supposed to do is kill a problem, make it go away forever. Although it's more versatile than that, clearly. Renewed Faith is an old favorite of mine from, I played during Odyssey, because I'm old. Decimator Beetle's pretty good. Blinding Mummy is actually pretty good too, for the zombie deck I want to play. It's an Exert creature, and that's just a really decent card. Like, I like that guy. I don't know if there's a deck for him in the Pauper format, because he is common, but he's definitely strong enough to do stuff. Okay, so we got Hepatra, which is great. I like Hepatra. We've got this awesome card. Like, on its face, it's only a 3/3 for 5 with flying, which is, you play it in limited, right? But it can cycle and it can embalm, so it's going to generate card advantage no matter what you do with it. Unless you exile it, obviously. I guess, as long as it doesn't get exiled, you will, card advantage. Another Trial of Strength, which is radical. Don't care. Yeah, Minotaur, and this card isn't great, but it will probably be good in the metagame of Magic Duels. Next pack. Yeah, Sandworm Convergence! That card's never gonna get played and constructed. Cast Out's good. Bone Picker's actually really good. I like this guy more than I should like a card for 7 mana. Like, the fact that you can cycle it, it's so nice. I could see it working in a Reanimator package. Hooded Brawler. Actually, another thing you can do is, I wouldn't be super shocked to see this guy show up in Pauper Tron, because he costs 7 mana. You can cycle him if you don't need him, but that's not really the benefit. The can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. There's a lot of fucking creatures in Pauper with power 2 or less. Like, that, yeah, I think that's good. Hooded Brawler's fine. And Unburden's actually a nice card. I like the option to cycle just in general. I love having options. So we've got Liliana's Mastery, which is strong. Spring to Mind. Search your library for basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped. And then Mind is draw 2 cards. This card is super inefficient, but probably okay to play. I think it's fine in limited. And it might be a role player in Magic Duels. I don't see it in Standard, but what do I know? Rona's Monument is a very good monument. I like this card a lot. Trevor Scale Drake is a 3/4 with flying. Heckmet Sentinels. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, Heckmet Sentinels enters gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I'm actually going to update my channel, if you'll bear with me, that I am opening packs. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, so we got the Cartouche of Knowledge. Right, next booster. Yeah, Glorybound Initiate. There's a beater. Got Lord of the Accursed, part of that zombie deck I want to play. Another Spring to Mind, Greater Sandworm, Cartouche of Zeal, and Unburden. This cartouche is really good too. This is a strict upgrade over... Oh, it's not a strict upgrade. No, it's... I guess it is technically better because it has the cartouche type and that interacts with cards, but it's just like Hammer Hand, I think, which is a really good red aura. We got another Never to Return. We got On-Crop Crasher. Ooh, Shadowstorm Vizier. This card's interesting, and I'll be very interested to see if this can work on Magic Duels. I don't think it's good enough for Standard, and it's a perfectly good role player in Limited. Like, it'll do stuff. Electrify. That's just a good card. Avid Initiate. Well, I guess it's not, like, bonkers good, because it doesn't hit players, but we'll play it. That's another... Yeah, Heckma Sentinels again. Okay, so we got Dread Wanderer. That's a good zombie. Cast Out again. Censor. I'm super high on this card, actually. Like, if you play Blue Control at all, you realize that this card is bananas. It does everything that you want a spell to be doing in a blue denial-based control deck on turn 2, which is you can hold up your mana to counter with this, or discard it and draw a card. It's like having Think Twice on a Mana Leak. I mean, it's obviously not as good as Think Twice or Mana Leak, but that's why you play it. Magma Spray. Naga Oracle. Enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put any number of them into the graveyard. That card's crap. In a Ketra's name. Okay, that's a zombie overrun. Anointed Procession. That might be a thing. Probably not in Standard, but on Magic Duels. And I think it's actually a little better than some people are giving it credit for being in Draft. And I can't imagine ever playing that in Sealed. Like, I'd have to have so much Embalm. So much. Another Censor, Radical. Crocodile of the Crossing is a great card. Another one of them. We've got a 2/2 flyer that... Oh yeah, I like this card. It's a 2/2 flyer for 4, which is not good. But when you attack, you can exert it, and it pumps your whole team. And then the white cartouche. Which is, again, pretty good card. Gives you a 1/1 creature with Vigilance, +1/+1 and First Strike. Any aura that doesn't give you just a straight-up card disadvantage should the creature get wrecked is good. Hey, Cruel Reality! Enchanted Player. At the beginning of Enchanted Player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If the player can't, he or she loses 5 life. This could be a great control finisher. We're definitely going to see it in Duels, and you're going to play this in Limited. I wouldn't be surprised if this showed up in Standard. If there's a control deck to be had, this card could make it could make the deck. Trial of Knowledge is very good. Lets you draw 3, discard 1, and then you can repeat that when you cast cartouches. On-Crop Champion again, Electrify again, Heckma Sentinels again, and Unwavering Initiate, which is a 3/2 Vigilance with Embalm. For 3, which is fine. Oh yeah, Dusk to Dawn. 4-mana Wrath, finally. I mean, it's not a straight Wrath, but it gets rid of pretty much everything you care about. And then, the other side, when you cast it from your graveyard with Aftermath for 3 white, return all creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So you wipe the board, and then you fill your hand back up with creatures. I like that card. Time to reflect. Exile target creature that blocked or was blocked by a zombie this turn. That's kind of narrow, but I'm planning to play a white-black X zombie deck, so that might get played by me. Angler Drake is not great. Might see some play if the blue-green or the Bant Flicker deck is still good on duels. I mean, he's awesome in Limited, don't get me wrong. Initiate's Companion, a 3/1. When it deals combat damage to a player, untap target creature or land, that's fine. Cursed Minotaur, Zombie Minotaur, 3/2 with Menace, that's fine. And the blue Cartouche again, which gets you a card when it enters the battlefield, gives a creature +1/+1 and flying. Come on. Another Liliana's Mastery. Oh, we've got a Reduce to Rubble. This is a 3-mana mana leak, which isn't the best, but it also has the ability to put your opponent's back a turn with Rubble. Reduce to Rubble is... I don't know. It might be good. Probably not. I will... If I get, 3 of them, I might try to make that deck work, but... I don't know. I don't know, man. Trial of Zeal deals 3 damage, it comes back, so that's a great card. All the trials are pretty good. Bitterblade Warrior we've seen is good. Shred Weakness, and then the red Cartouche. Next booster. Aw, yeah. Harsh Mentor is going to be all over the goddamn place in every format for a while. Like, people are... He's just so little investment for potentially so much damage. Like, fetch lands in Modern or Legacy. This guy just goes right into a burn deck. Yeah, I think that card's very powerful. Another Cast Out. Lord of the Accursed, good. We've got one of the Deserts. This is one of the ones that might actually see play. Ornery Kudu. And Shed Weakness. Alright, we've got Commit to Memory. Put target spell or non-land permanent into its owner's library, second from the top. So you tuck one of their spells, like a Memory Lapse, but underneath the top card, so they don't get it right away. That's not super good at 4 mana, but Aftermath, each player shuffles his or her graveyard into her library and draws 7 cards. If you're playing a control deck, that could be really good. Stopping an opponent's answer, filling your hand back up. Even if it fills their hand up, you're likely, with enough mana out to be able to cast Memory, you're going to be able to take care of whatever problems come your way. But I see that getting some play, at least in duels. Open into Wonder. X target creatures can't be blocked this turn, and whenever they deal damage this turn to a player, combat damage to a player, you draw a card. I think that card might see some play in, I don't know if it's Standard, I don't know if Blue's going to have much creature presence, but online duels, for sure. Cryptic Serpent. Costs 1 less to cast for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. I would not be super surprised to see him show up in Standard. Soul Stinger. We played with this guy a little bit. He enters the battlefield. He's a 4/5 for 4, which is above curve. When he enters the battlefield, put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature you control, and when it dies, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature for each -1/-1 counter on Soul Stinger. Sparring Mummy is crap, and Ketra's Name is fine. And another Hipatra. Got a Destined to Lead. Destined for 2 mana, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. This is actually a pretty decent effect. That's a good effect. Being able to, like, ruin your opponent's combat math that way. Sneak in some damage. Lead. All creatures able to block target creature this turn do so. So if you have the 6 mana necessary, you give one of your creatures a bonus to power, indestructible, and lure. So they have to block it, and you get in with everything else. Or you can just cast them at separate times and try to do shenanigans. Like, I think this card's fine. I don't know if it'll see any constructed play. Defiant Greatmaw. When Defiant Greatmaw enters the battlefield, put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature you control. When you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on Defiant Greatmaw, remove 1 from another target creature you control. Or you could do again. Jeru's Resolve, untap target creature, and prevent all damage that will be dealt to it this turn with cycling. I don't know. I don't think that card's good even with cycling. And Sacred Cat, I think, is a pretty fine card. Like, it's a 1/1 that comes back as a 1/1, and the fact that it always has lifelink makes it carry equipment and auras really well. At the very least, when you chump block, you gain a life. Like, it can make a difference. Pyramid of the Pantheon. This card's terrible. You pay 2, tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, then put a brick counter on it. So you spend 3 turns doing that to get 3 brick counters, and suddenly it taps for 3 mana. No. No, unless there's a combo I'm not seeing, or I haven't thought about, or... That card's not good. Maybe in Commander. I guess I can see it in Commander when you're just sort of playing mana rocks and stuff early game. Bone Picker's good. Trial of Zeal's good. Bitterblade Warrior we've seen. Supernatural Stamina we've seen. And Compelling Argument. Target player puts top... Oh, okay. Oh! That's interesting. This is... what's that card called? Mind Sculpt. But with cycling. It's a strictly better Mind Sculpt. I wonder if that makes it good enough in Limited. Maybe even Constructed, but I'd have to take a look at how many mill cards are available. But 2 mana for 5 cards is okay in Limited. Yeah! Ronus the Indomitable. Let's just take a look at him, actually. He is a 5/5 for 3 with Death Touch and Indestructible. Don't worry about it. He can't attack or block, though, unless you control another creature with power 4 or greater. Yeah, that should be hard for green to accomplish. And you can pay 2 and a green to give another target creature +2/+0 and have it gain trample until end of turn. So he just turns himself on. Sex. Labyrinth Guardian. When it becomes target of a spell, sacrifice it. Not ability. So, it's not like every other illusion this way. You can't just use a tapper to kill it. And it doesn't bomb. I think this guy's actually pretty good. In Limited, I think he's good. Like, your opponent's cards are going to be removal most of the time anyway. Destined to Lead again. Then into a Sure Shot again. Blazing Volley, 1 damage to each creature your opponent's control. That card, I think, is going to see some play in Pauper. I don't know if it's better than Electrickery, but it could be. The fact that Electrickery is an instant is sort of why I'm wondering. And you can just cast it for 1 and kill a thing for 1 damage. And a lot of stuff dies in Pauper to 1 damage, believe me. Or you can overload it for 2 mana and get this effect. And Sparring Mummy still sucks. Hey, Heart Piercer Manticore. I want to play with this guy. I'm trying to make a Turbo Fling deck work. Crocodile. Oh, let's take a look at him here. He's 4 mana for a 4/3, which is fine. Has Embalmed 5 and a red, which is Yeah, that's, I mean, if it didn't have Embalm, I'd still want to play it. The fact that it doesn't make it worse. When it enters the battlefield, which can be either from your hand or the graveyard, you may sacrifice another creature, like one of the gods, for instance, and have it deal damage equal to that creature's power to target creature or player. So he can have him come down, sacrifice something, kill a creature, hit your opponent. If there's any way to like pump your guy up and combo, I can't wait for somebody to figure out a way to throw like, I don't know, 16, what's that 3-mana 1/1 that generates energy and you can spend energy to double its power? That guy? Something Pummeler? Ether Pummeler? I don't know. That thing, though. Throw that. 2/1 with Embalm. That guy's fine. We already seen him and them. We got 2 more. Well, I mean, I've still got more money. I can open more packs. Hey, Drakehaven. I'm expecting to see lots of control decks trying to make that work. Catcher's Ascendant is good. We've seen that. Well, let's read Drakehaven. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, get a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. That's really, really good. I played during Astral Rift days, where Astral Slide and Lightning Rift, like, based control, not really control decks, but mid-range decks existed, and they were really good. And this is not strictly comparable to Lightning Rift, but it, instead of doing damage, it gives you flying creatures. I think it's fairly comparable. Cradle of the Accursed, I don't think this is very good. I could be wrong. Sunscorched Desert, I think, is good, and Cartouche of Zeal is fine. Oh, we've got Cut to Ribbons. 1 in a red, 4 damage to target creature. Mwah! Awesome. If that's all it read, it played all the damn time. However, X black, each opponent loses 4 life. Why the fuck not? I mean, this is going to get played in mono red decks that don't even splash black for it. It's seriously really efficient, good removal. Trial of Zeal we've seen, Trial of Strength, awesome. We got lots of trials. I'm happy. Gift of Paradise, I think, is okay. I don't know if there's any, like, land untapping shenanigans in Standard, but you could generate a lot of mana. We've talked about that. I think it's going to have some presence in Magic Duels. I don't think it'll see play in Standard, and it's pretty much awful in Limited. There might be games where you play it because you get like chump blocking and then getting a land, but it's not super good. And Minotaur Sure Shot again. Let's return to the store. I've still got $7.25. Let's buy some more. Open that booster pack. Alright, we have Rags to Riches. Not sure about this card. 2 black, all creatures get -2/-2 till end of turn. That's overcosted. Oops. 7 mana, Aftermath. Each opponent chooses a creature he or she controls. You gain control of those creatures. No? Like, never. Never is that going to be good. They just give you their worst thing, and it's at 7. You might play Rags in Limited if you need that effect, but even then, it's a sideboard card. This will never see play in Standard, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, Canadian Highlander. I think it will get played for the Riches effect in Commander. Vizier of Trembling Sands. Okay, yeah, here's an untap effect. And it can cycle, which is nice. Another Shadowstorm Vizier. Hooded Brawlers, a 3/2 that becomes a 5/4. Black Cartouche. I don't know if we've seen this one yet. It's good too. Enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature, and your creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. That's a pretty good exchange. Scarab Feast. Exile up to 3 target cards from a single graveyard, recycling black. Sideboard tech for standard. X Booster. Anointed Procession again. Baleful Amonkhet. We played with this. It's a 4/3 for 3 with lifelink, and when it enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature you control. That's fine. This guy's better. 3/2 for 3 with haste. You may exert it when it attacks. If you do, target creature can't block this turn. Like, I've played basically this card for 4 mana on Magic Duels, and I was very happy with it. Cradle of the Accursed I don't think is good. Blazing Volley we've been over. Miasmic Mummy, another card that might see some play in Pauper. Pauper's blue-black control decks, or black control decks, I guess black-white sometimes, but they're looking to do these discard effects and remove your opponent's answers as quickly as possible so that your creatures can do the job. You also can play stuff from your graveyard. And 2 more. Open the booster, and what we got? Yeah, the Regal Caracal. Cat deck coming up. Reduced to rubble again, I'm super happy with that. This guy's good too. I think he's just a 4/3 for 2 beater, and when he enters the battlefield, discard a card. I think that's worth it. Splendid Agony, 3 mana, distribute 2 -1/-1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. That's actually not bad at all. An instant? Yeah, it's not bad at all. You could do that during combat. Think about that. Sparring Mummy sucks, and Sacred Cat's fine. Hey! We have Kefnet the Mindful. I have no idea if this is getting good or not. In Limited, you could probably make it work. I feel like it's going to have to be part of some kind of highly synergistic deck to work in Constructed. It obviously can work in Commander. You could do a Commander deck with this guy. He's a flying indestructible 5/5 for 3, but you can't attack or block with it unless you have 7 or more cards in hand. So unless you got a full grip or more, you can't. It does nothing. But you can pay 3 mana and 3 and a white to draw a card, and then, if you want, return a land you control to its owner's hand. So that can help you turn lands you're not going to use into cards in your hand to keep them at 7, so you can, like, pay 4, draw a card, return a land, put you at 7, swing for 5, play the land. It's not super efficient, but it makes it capable of turning itself on, even if it takes a while. Blue costs 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you stop an opponent's creature from untapping. Notably, it does not tap that creature. Grasping Dunes. I don't think this is alright. I don't think it's great. It will probably see play. Pouncing Cheetah is a 3/2 with Flash, which will probably... Well, it's fine and limited. I don't know if it'll see constructed play. That's fine. And that's fine. And that's all I can afford right now. Let's see, do I want to keep going? How long have I been online? An hour and 25 minutes. So I think I'm going to call it a night. Thanks everybody for joining. Before I take off, I am going to throw this up on screen for the shameless plug. I appreciate it if you want to follow me on Twitter at GreatCanadianGuy. Check out my YouTube GreatCanadianGuy, for my GCG Play series and for archives of these streams. And I appreciate it if you want to subscribe to that channel, because I put a lot of work into it and I think it's actually quite good if you like gaming content. Anyway, take care.